And good morning. Welcome to Korea Today, live from Seoul.
A futuristic partnership. The two leaders of Korea and France have agreed to strengthen technological and cultural exchanges to maximize their synergy effects and develop new growth engines.
Meanwhile, China's top nuclear envoy Oh Tae-wei is in North Korea. A flurry of movements yet again regarding the six-party talks. More coming up in the headlines.
And in business news, Korea's golf membership market isn't looking too green these days. We'll break that down for you on In Print.
It almost feels like you can reach out and touch it. Imaging technology in Korea is advancing by the day, with holography and 3D imaging providing more realism than ever. Using different wavelengths and colors, various lights are being used to offer treatment for simple skin irritations and potentially more severe conditions such as diabetes. Find out on Tuesday, November 5th, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
Thanks for tuning in. You're watching Korea Today on a Tuesday morning.
Good morning. And during a meeting with business leaders of Korea and France, President Park Geun-hye delivered a speech regarding cooperative vision in a 20-minute speech, all in French.
That's right. She received a standing ovation from the attendees, and many of whom said they were completely and blown away and impressed with her pronunciation. You know, the French language is known to have some tricky pronunciations. I'm sure she didn't nail it to a T, but it's the gesture that counts.
Yep, the gesture was accepted, and the president's interest in France and the French language, it actually paid off because she spent a part of her 20s studying in France until she was called back into Korea to serve as interim first lady after her mother's death.
Right, those 6 months certainly came in handy, right? All right, we'll go to Na Young-kyung for a check of this story and other stories we're following at this hour.
China's top nuclear envoy Oh Tae-wei traveled to North Korea on Monday, says Pyongyang state media. The specifics of the purpose and the schedule of his visit were not announced. However, North Korea watchers say it must be part of China's efforts to resume the stalled six-party nuclear disarmament talks, especially since it comes so soon after Wu's visit to the U.S. Following talks with his Washington counterparts last week, Wu said he was confident the six-party talks would resume soon. His visit comes amid a flurry of diplomacy by the six-party states involved, namely South and North Korea, the U.S., China, Russia, and Japan. Now, South Korea's top nuclear envoy Cho Tae-yong is currently in Washington to discuss the North Korea issue with his U.S. and Japanese counterparts on Monday local time. President Park Geun-hye has been known for speaking multiple languages, but it was the first time she delivered a speech in French, as you heard. Who would have known, right? On Monday local time, the president urged Korean and French economic leaders to make mutual efforts and show interest in sectors that have potentials for bilateral cooperation and building a creative economy. For example, the cultural industry, as well as new growth engines for the future.
La haute technologie française dans les domaines scientifiques, aérospatial et énergétique rencontrons les TIC et les technologies commerciales coréennes. Ainsi, les nouvelles industries d'avenir de nos deux pays connaîtront une croissance plus rapide et plus importante.
And President Park also held summit talks with French President François Hollande, where the two leaders agreed to quickly sign a deal for a joint project between Korea's LG Chemical and French car manufacturer Renault to develop an electric vehicle. President Park is now headed to the United Kingdom for a state visit, where she will meet with Queen Elizabeth II and Prime Minister David Cameron. Representative Moon Jae-in, the man who is thought by many to have some of the key answers to what could have possibly happened to the 2007 Inter-Korean Summit talks, transcript says he will confidently answer the prosecution's questions.
I already said I would comply with the summons, so I'm thinking about going as soon as the schedule is set, whether it be tomorrow or the day after.
The 2007 summit transcript has been at the center of attention since the ruling Saenuri Party claimed former Progressive President Roh Moo-hyun had conceded to Pyongyang by making controversial comments to then North Korean leader Kim Jong-il. The prosecution, which concluded the final transcript never made it to the state archives, has been investigating how it was never transferred. Reports say Moon could be summoned as early as Tuesday, with officials set to grill him on the process of the transfer, as well as whether the late president had given direct orders to destroy the transcript. Samsung Electronics posted bigger global sales than any other IT company in the world in the third quarter. Industry figures show Samsung chalked up more than $56 billion in sales, roughly 18 billion more than Apple during the July to September period. The difference in sales between the two tech rivals has increased more than fourfold since the first quarter of this year. However, Samsung trailed Apple in terms of operating profit in the third quarter, falling short by some $560 million.
And good morning, everyone. As President Park Geun-hye shifts from one European country to the next, the papers have the fruits of her summit talks with France's President Francois Hollande as their front story. Let's go ahead and take a look at the front page of 중앙일보, which shows the two world leaders shaking hands with the title Korea-France Summit Talks at Élysée Palace. Now, the caption says that the pair agreed to strengthen their cooperation in the realms of creative economy as well as banking and health. And on that note, let's go ahead and turn to our next newspaper, 조선일보, for more on that part of the story. 조선일보 has a similar story on its front page. It's right here. The main story has a feature that the paper is doing on the final 10 years of Koreans. Let's go ahead and take a look at this headline, which reads, Korea-France agree to investment cooperation in electric cars, aerospace, and pharmaceuticals. Three realms of futuristic economic cooperation that were noted in the joint statement released following the summit talks. Now, citing an unnamed 청와대 source, the article reports that a plan for Korea's LG Chem to work with France's Renault SA, Europe's leading electrical vehicle producer, in future technical cooperation projects.
You know, the summit seems to have gone well because they've invited one another to their respective countries. You know that's a friendly meeting when an invitation follows, right?
That's right. And in fact, the continuing article on the inside pages on page A2 does mention that it says that President Park Geun-hye invited the French president to come to Korea next year, and also for President Park Geun-hye to make a state visit back to France in the year 2015. So it seems relations between the two countries are off to a strong
Maybe
footing.
President Hollande will make a speech in Korean when he comes.
I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Note to the French president there, right? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at 동아일보's main headline now. It takes us to Japan, and the headline reads, 11 locations of conscription and deep sorrow. Japan calls them World Heritage Sites. Now, the article reports that out of the 28 locations that Tokyo has submitted for consideration to be designated as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, 동아일보 found that 11 are sites of historic pain for Seoul. It reports that at least 1,481 Koreans were forcibly taken for physical labor at those sites. Japan has said that they selected the locations based on their modern business value and that historic problems have no place in their consideration, according to the paper. Scooting over to Gyeongyang Shinmun now, we return to domestic issues, namely the ongoing spy agency scandal. And the main headline reads, Nam Jae-jun makes first acknowledgement, saying payment made for part-time special activity comment writing jobs. Nam is, of course, the National Intelligence Service Director. And during a closed-door hearing at the National Assembly yesterday, he is reported to have acknowledged that the spy agency had paid one part part-time employee some 2.8 million won per month for 11 months under a special activity fee, citing a Saenuri Party lawmaker. He also said that some 2,300 tweets and retweets on Twitter so far were confirmed to have qualified as election meddling comments, and that his agency will see to it that the probe does come to a solid conclusion. And continuing on to our Korea Economic Daily this morning, its main headline reads, Golf Membership Market in Panic Mode. Now, Korea's golf courses have been in trouble for some time now, as what was once considered good investments, golf memberships, that is, have been declining in market value as represented in the included graph. Now, the figures going by 10,000 won, and as you can see, for example, here, a membership at Asiana Golf Course has fallen to 250 million won, or roughly $235,000, has fallen from 300 million won, or roughly $282,000 in mid-August. Now, the paper reports that golf courses have been further pushed to panic mode recently with a ruling from the Suwon District Court. It ordered one golf club under court receivership to return just 17%, that is, of the enrollment fee to its members, going against an existing law that had guaranteed membership value even in the case of changing ownership. This recent ruling has caused the apparent value of golf memberships overall to drop, and even those not directly related to this case seem to be hit by the after effects of it. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Tuesday. Next up are your closing numbers from Monday's market action.
Time now to get a check on the weather with our Idami.
Well, definitely fall is settling in, and it's getting a bit colder. We'll get a check on today's weather. Dami, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm reporting live from the Seoul Museum of History. This morning here in Seoul, we're starting out with clear skies. However, there is a tint of fog, not as thick as yesterday, but do be cautious on the roads just in case. As for our lows, it is colder than yesterday. It is 8 degrees Celsius, so make sure to bundle up before heading out. We are continuing to see a significant gap between our highs and lows, so please try not to catch a cold. Now, we will be seeing clear conditions today and tomorrow. However, it looks like on Thursday, which is the day of the Korean SATs, we will be seeing chances of showers in the morning. Do keep your heads up for that, just in case. Let's now get a check on the weather around Korea. Seoul's highs will be the coolest at 18, Daejeon and Gangneung at 19, Daegu and Busan at 21, Gwangju and Jeju at 20 degrees. Our mercury levels will look pretty similar throughout the week, but we are expecting rain on Saturday as well, which will bring cold winter conditions next week. That's all for the weather. I'll be back in just a few moments.
And as you heard in our headlines, President Park Geun-hye held a summit with French President Francois Hollande, and her next step is, or next phase of her European trip is the state visit to the UK.
That's right. This is the second state visit to the UK for a Korean president. Among the entourage who will be greeting President Park Geun-hye will be British Ambassador to Korea, Mr. Scott Wightman. I had a chance to sit down with him before his departure at the ambassador's residence. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. It's good to be with you. Yes.
President Park Geun-hye will be on a 4-day state visit to the UK starting on the 4th, and this comes at the invitation of Queen Elizabeth II, who only sends invitations twice a year, and she signed it, "Your good friend Elizabeth." How did this come about, and what is the significance of this state visit for the two countries?
Well, you're right. This is a very important moment for us. I think the reason that Her Majesty wanted to invite President Park was because this is a big year for our bilateral relationship. It's 130 years this year since we established diplomatic relations. It's the 60th anniversary of the armistice in the Korean War, in which a lot of British service personnel fought. So it's the right moment to celebrate what's a very close relationship now based on shared economic and political values, and it's also the right moment to establish the foundation just to grow the relationship and strengthen it and deepen it further in the years to come.
And many eyes are on the grand welcoming ceremony I'm sure the Queen will have for President Park, as she did for President Roh Moo-hyun in the year 2004. And President Park will get down to business with British Prime Minister David Cameron and discuss a number of issues, including the creative economy and cybersecurity, among other things. What would you say will be some of the top issues on the agenda?
Well, you're right. The President and the Prime Minister will have talks and a lunch at number 10 Downing Street. I'm sure that the President will want to discuss with the Prime Minister the UK's experience in developing as a global powerhouse in the creative industries. I think they will want to talk as well about some of the big global security challenges, issues like the situation in North Korea, the situation in Syria, and I think they'll also want to discuss subjects where, by working together, Korea and the United Kingdom can make a difference globally on issues like climate change and in reducing international poverty.
Right. What do you think are some of the most anticipated outcomes of this bilateral summit?
Well, we're expecting to conclude agreements in a number of areas, agreements that will cover areas like nuclear cooperation, cooperation in the creative economy, on culture, intensified relations on science and innovation. So across a whole range of fields, we're going to see more agreements about how we can work together more effectively so that we can deliver benefits for Korean people and British people, and for Korean companies and British companies.
The United Kingdom is one of few countries, Western countries, to maintain diplomatic ties with North Korea. It has an embassy in Pyongyang, and the British ambassador to North Korea, Mr. Mike Gifford, wrote an op-ed saying the international efforts to engage North Korea are important because the door may be closed, but it is not locked. What are Britain's plans to make North Korea a responsible member of the international community?
We try to use our embassy in Pyongyang to engage in a critical way, a critical engagement, critical dialogue with the authorities in North Korea. But we also use it to engage in people-to-people contacts, and we're looking to expand these in a modest way so that we can demonstrate to people in North Korea the rest of the world isn't hostile to North Korea, that there is an alternative path for North Korea should it decide to take it. And we believe that this sort of approach is absolutely complementary and supportive of President Park's concept of building trust on the Korean Peninsula.
Right.
And these people-to-people contacts is one way, I think, slowly and gradually to do that.
Okay. Well, 2013 is a special year for Korea and the UK. They mark, like you said, the 130th anniversary of diplomatic ties. And walk us through some of the highlights of this bilateral relations.
President Park will break the ground for the first Korean War memorial in London. And British veterans of the Korean War will take part on that occasion. Our commercial trade and investment relationship is expanding very quickly, thanks in no small measure to the EU, the free trade agreement between Korea and the European Union. Last year, Korean exports to the United Kingdom increased by 24%. British exports, non-oil goods exports to Korea increased by 15%. So people here and people in the United Kingdom are benefiting from that expanded relationship. We're also seeing more Korean students going to study in our world-class universities, and we're beginning to see more young British people coming to spend time here in Korea. And we're seeing Korean companies having a big impact in the UK now. And of course, Psy now has had a big impact on perceptions of British perceptions of Korea as an exciting, dynamic place.
And you've been the British ambassador to Korea since 2011. What are some of the embassy's plans to promote further exchanges between the peoples of the two countries?
We're seeing Korean companies and British companies working together in third countries, in the Gulf, in Southeast Asia. And that's a new phenomenon, and I think that's an exciting phenomenon with a lot of potential. And for the future, we in the embassy, we're going to be focusing a lot of our efforts to make sure that people in Korea understand more about modern Britain. I think Korean people have quite strong ideas about some of the strong points of traditional Britain, but we want people here to understand that the UK is just a great place to visit. It's a great place to go and study. It's a great place to do business. And so that's where we'll be focusing a lot of our efforts in the months to come.
Right, and you're going to be going back to the UK with President Park Geun-hye on this state visit. So good luck with that, and thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you indeed.
Still ahead on Korea Today, holograms are no longer a vision of the future. They're becoming a realistic option for putting objects on display and being integrated into other fields requiring visual law. We look at eye-popping imaging technologies to show you some of the latest.
Good morning, I'm Kwon-Rina. Fall is a great time to enjoy lots of great food and beautiful scenery all around Korea. The cool, crisp air and colorful autumn foliage adds to beauty, making it a prime festival-going season. So today I'm here to introduce some regional specialties, recapping recent events, and looking at some upcoming events as well. The first place we'll head to is the beautiful province of Gangwon. It's of course home to scenic mountains and clear waters as well. Did you know that the terrain of Gangwon province is 77% mountain, and it's actually situated near the East Sea. It's the perfect location to enjoy beaches in the summer and skiing in the winter. It's also where many of the most famous ski resorts are located, and it's famous for being the host city of the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. That's not all. Up until last week at Mindung Mountain, 3,600 feet above sea level, was the Mindung Mountain Reed Festival to celebrate autumn scenic flora. Next, we'll take you to the seas where the Myeongtae Festival was held. Around the harbors in Gangwon province, a variety of activities were available for many visitors as well. Next, we actually move on to a different region of Korea. We're going to take you to an artistic scene of Chungcheong province. There are many cultural and art-related festivals going on in Chungcheong province. In early October, Korea's largest dance festival, the Cheonghan Hungtaryong Festival, drew over 1.3 million visitors during its 6-day celebration. More than 6,000 dancers from all over the world participated in this festival. And currently, they are hosting the North Chungcheong Province Art Festival and the Geungang Nature Art Biennale. These festivals offer a great opportunity for people to experience Korea's art and culture of the past and the future. Next up, we're going to take you to a place known for great foods of Jeolla Province. I'm sure you've heard of this region. It's famous for the best of Korean foods and traditions. Some of its famous dishes are Jeonju bibimbap, Damyeong 떡갈비, and Park Geun-hye, which is a small type of clams. They say you'll find the best tasting Korean dishes here, and it is leading the globalization of Korean foods. Recently, a Korean food cooking contest was held at the Jeonbuk Food Culture Festival. Also, the heart of Korean food, jang, Korea's traditional sauces made from fermented soybeans, were showcased at the Sunchang Fermented Soybean Festival. Sunchang-gun in Jeolla Province is famous for its gochujang, which is a spicy chili paste. This unique festival offers a great opportunity to learn about traditional sauces that have been around for 1,000 years. Next on over, we're going to take you to the island of Jeju. I'm sure you're familiar with this region. It is a popular international tourism destination. It was in fact picked as one of the new 7 wonders of nature back in 2011. It has the warmest climate in Korea and subsequently the only place where tropical plants grow. Thanks to the warm weather and beautiful natural scenery, many tourism-related festivals are held all year round. Jeju's main attraction is the Ollegil Trails. Scenic walking routes were selected for tourists to discover the beautiful nature of Jeju Island. Until early November, the Jeju Ole Walking Festival will continue. Also, the Jeju Leisure and Sports Festival is holding a triathlon as well as saltwater fishing, inline skating, and hockey competitions as well. And last on the list, we're going to bring you back to our capital city. of Seoul, especially more beautiful at night. In fall, the added lights at historic palaces around Seoul add to the night's beautiful scenery. Changdeok Palace, Gyeongbok Palace, and Changgyeong Palace are beautifully lit up and open at night. Also right now, the Seoul Lantern Festival is going on around the Cheonggye Stream area. Cheonggye streams run through the middle of Seoul, and it is enjoyed for relaxation by many locals and tourists alike. You can check out the beautiful Seoul Lantern Festival until the 17th of November. And last but not least, we have several more festivals going around all over Korea in November. I wasn't able to mention all of them, so these are some great festivals. I hope you get the chance to visit some of the places before it gets too cold. I'm Kwon-rina, and that's all from me today.
Let's go back to our Dami, who is standing by at the Seoul Museum of History, where a bazaar is taking place.
Okay, we'll find out more about this special bazaar with Lee Dami. Good morning.
Back
tell us
to you.
more.
Get the drum.
Would you like to buy that drum?
I'm back reporting live from this whole Museum of History, where you can see the development of Korea all in one place. Now today there's going to be a very special event that'll be held here at the museum. Every year the Seoul International Women's Association, or SIWA, and the wives of diplomats here in Korea hold an international fundraising event. Now this event is called the 2013 SIWA and Diplomatic Community Bazaar. This bazaar is what happened or started back in the 1970s, and it's been around for a while. And the purpose is to support those in need, such as Korean or charities and welfare. Now we do have the president of SIWA here with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
Nice
Thanks
to
for being
see you.
here.
Oh no, thank you so much for coming out. So could you go ahead and tell us how SIWA or this bazaar got started and what the motivation was?
Certainly. The Seoul International Women's Association is celebrating its 51st year. And since the 70s, we have been conducting this bazaar to raise money. All the money that we raise stays in Korea for Korean charities. We help different organizations, from orphanages, the homeless, disadvantaged people, disabled people, and we raise money to help meet their basic needs as well as increase their quality of life.
Wow, such a good purpose. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
You're very welcome. Enjoy the bazaar.
I will, thank you. So as we walk around, we can see lots of goods, cultural goods, industrial products from all over the world. And this year for the bazaar, there will be about 40 different countries participating. And this exhibition is actually introducing some of the countries here. Now, we also have the wife of the Thai ambassador, Nujari Klongsungsorn. So, good morning.
Good morning.
So could you go ahead and tell us what exactly is going on in this exhibition or this section here at the bazaar?
Well, this is a Thailand booth, and of course we have other countries that participating in this bazaar as well. We have Morocco, we got Italy, and other countries from other regional countries, and not to mention the food court as well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for that explanation. So basically, as we walk around, we can see the different goods and foods from different countries. There will be so many exotic specialties, lots of items that you can see from all over the world. And this event is just the more meaningful as it is run by foreigners who have volunteered. Now, SIWA is the largest of international women's gatherings in Korea, and the members of SIWA help foreigners that visit Korea to be more aware of the strengths of this nation. It's almost like as if Korea is their second home. So here at the bazaar, from sightseeing to feasting and shopping, the 2013 SIWA Bazaar is going to be packed with fun-filled activities. The bazaar will start from 9 a.m. and it will end at 4 p.m. Don't miss out on this opportunity, as it is just a one-day event. Now, there will also be free wine tasting, free beauty care, and so much to see around here at the bazaar. Now, there will be exciting prizes that you can win from buying tickets, from the lucky draw, also the grand raffle. Definitely don't miss out, don't be late. And if you'd like to find more information on Siwa, you can always find it on their website. Now, this is your look at the 2013 Siwa and Diplomatic Community Bazaar. Come and join the generous hearts that are helping out with this community, as it is an exciting and special day for everyone. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
Dami didn't ask if that drum was on sale, so I think you have to get down there and check
I'll
it out
have to
for
ask
yourself.
them, Dami, to fetch
Bizarre
it for me.
one, right?
We've seen imaging technology evolve from 2D to 3D and now 4D, and efforts are ongoing to make existing images as realistic as they can get. And one of the areas that's gaining a lot of interest is holography these days.
That's right. Holograms are already being used in money, cash, as well as credit cards, checks, you name it. I'm sure you've seen them around, and the technology for it is evolving by the day. Joining us is Travis Klein to talk more about holography as well as 3D tech. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So in 1939, there was an imaging technology that was utilized. It was called Technicolor for a certain movie. Started off in black and white, but later on they added this color. But these days, it might seem a little bit primitive, so we're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. It's the 21st century, and now we have a sort of imaging technology that is like a virtual world, like you'd mentioned, holograms, that actually can take 3D images and make it look a lot more realistic than the actual thing. And we're going to take a look at some of these technologies.
Watching things in 3D these days comes with the baggage of having to wear special glasses and, for some, discomfort or dizziness. So to overcome these challenges, one of the technologies that can be used in various fields while offering a solution to existing difficulties is hologram technology. Holograms can be seen without special equipment, and their images carry impressive three-dimensional features, making it difficult to tell whether they are real or from the virtual world.
Holography is the technology that enables 3D images, just like this, to look just like real objects in life. It utilizes the strength and the direction of light to create these images, and at the same time, depending on what angle you look at it, it's going to look different.
So I visited a lab where research and the production of these holograms, which can be used in various fields, is underway.
So this is quite the big setup. What in the world's going on?
If regular cameras record light, this machine records on hologram film according to a phase difference when the laser hits the object.
Red, blue, and green lasers are used to materialize these images, and depending on the colors, different atmospheres can be created, enabling the projection of various types of holographic images. Holograms are used not only to recreate simple objects, but also for video images.
In order to look at real 3D images, you need holographic technology. We are working on developing a hologram television by 2030 so that people can watch real 3D images being broadcast.
Meanwhile, another impressive technology developed for the first time in Korea is receiving a lot of attention. It's a multi-projection technology called ScreenX that uses screens not only in the front of the theater but also on the sides as well.
ScreenX is a multi-projection theater system. What that means is we take multiple projectors and we combine it into one image, and this allows us to project images and video along both sides of the wall. We've incorporated a server that we developed in-house.
Using a number of projectors, the core of ScreenX technology is that it can create natural images for the viewers. In order to make the best use of the three screens which the images are projected on, the scenes are shot using 3 cameras, allowing for a 270-degree view from one angle. Not only that, the variety in ScreenX production techniques is becoming another element of interest to many in the film industry. By adding screens to 3 sides of the room, A larger space for projection becomes available and also increases the intensity of the experience, making it feel as if people are actually part of the movie.
It was inconvenient to watch 3D movies with glasses, but this screen technology doesn't have that kind of discomfort.
When I saw the images coming up from three sides of the movie theater, it didn't feel like I was watching a movie but actually experiencing the scenes.
Imaging technology has evolved rapidly, going from black and white to color and two-dimensional to 3. And people believe there is greater potential for development in this field.
Wow.
Very nice. Now, forget me if I'm wrong, is that how much holography technology has improved?
I'm sorry, this is the actual.
Yeah, you can touch that and find out the answer.
I've brought some of the images that we just saw in the report. Like, for instance, I got a picture of a bag. I don't know if we can pan to it.
Yeah.
But I also have
that looks real.
A hologram of the
Can you hold it up a little bit? Yeah,
okay,
so that
Cheonmachong, which is, as you see here, then it's over here, the image that they displayed.
Right.
Which it looks like the actual thing. I'm not sure if you can see it from there. But when I was in the gallery, it was pretty amazing. I would put my hand like over the pictures just to check to see if it's not fake, right? So it's pretty awesome.
Can I see that? I mean, it really does look like there is
You sure
the
there's
object
not
right in there.
an actual bag in there? Wow.
You'd love to take it home with you.
Right,
probably,
exactly.
right?
Just
This is
fetch
for
it
you.
there
You
from
can-
there
you
and
can
just
take that.
it's
See, it
pretty
actually
neat.
looks there. I mean, it is one-dimensional, but at the same time, it does look like it has depth. And when you move it around, you can actually see that. You know,
Right.
there it is.
And trust me, there is no bag behind this panel, right? Interesting. And then you can see these cultural assets in 3D. That's a whole new experience. Is there a reason they decided to put this in an exhibition form?
Well, the exhibition was originally a government project that was initiated. And then, of course, the Korea Creative Contents Agency sort of commissioned the project to move forward on that. Now, the interesting thing about this imaging technology, though, is
How does
it
it
uses
work? I mean-
exactly laser lights. So if I were to give you an image of it, it scans 3D or 2D objects. If I were to scan my hand with this laser light, it would just like scan every inch of my hand, and then it would project it sort of on a screen or just maybe even in thin air using light to look exactly just like my hand. But what's really cool is like the 2D is it might scan like a picture and then it uses depth. It just has like its own brain, right? Because you just see like a flat surface, yet it'll turn this 2D picture into something 3D that has depth, and you can see like all around. It compensates for like weight and angles and direction.
Okay, so we've seen cultural assets, we've seen map. I believe that's a map of Jeju Island. But where else can we use this technology?
Well, they're hoping obviously to use this in the medical field. If you can only
Makes
imagine,
sense,
yeah,
right?
of course, to help save lives. Most of the time when you're trying to find out what's wrong with someone, if you're looking on the cellular level, if you're looking on the inside of a person and their organs, you have to make an incision. But if you can use this 3D technology, it can just scan the inside and then show you a 3D output of what's going on, and the doctors are able to make a better diagnosis.
And of course, that would be a very valuable technology. You can actually operate on a patient remotely from a remote location.
It really is, but the geek in me likes the technology because maybe virtual reality will come into fruition in terms of video games. You put on like some glasses and you can maybe move around with your virtual world. If you've ever seen the movies like Minority Report or like Iron Man, where they have the computer screens that are just in thin air and they move the computer screens so you can do all of this, that's pretty much a basis for this technology. And if they evolve it eventually, that might be something that we can use.
Okay, so maybe 20 years from now, we're going to be opening up our browsers up into thin air, right? Having headlines go out. Now, I think the 3D, well, it's not exactly 3D, right? The movie theater, it's an experience. It's more like a surround screen, would you say? Is that available to the public right now?
Not yet, but they started this just a month ago. It was featured at the Busan International Film Festival. What it is you has a screen. It's called ScreenX. You see the screen in front of you, but just like regular vision, we see what's in front of us, but then in our peripherals, we see some things going on, just actions that happen on your left and right. It's pretty much the same idea that they have, so you don't have to use 3D glasses, but you see the picture and then things going on in the sides as well.
I think that's gonna creep me out a bit.
No, put some 3D glasses on for that, then you'll have a really weird experience.
Or like you totally immerse yourself,
Wow.
like you're the only person in the theater.
Wow.
And you see everything.
Well, thank you, Travis, for that story. And can I keep that bag or that picture of that
I
bag?
have it right here, don't worry. I'm gonna keep hold on to that for
All
you.
right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Travis.
Well, still ahead on Korea Today, light therapy can be used to treat emotional instability and treat simple conditions such as skin irritations, but the scope is expanding with the potential of it being used in curing severe conditions such as diabetes. An expert joins us in the studio for more, so stay with us.
And a good Tuesday morning to you all. Now, baseball season is over here in the nation, which means it's time for awards to be given out. And the two awards that got the most attention were the KBO MVP honors and the Rookie of the Year award. And of course, for the Most Valuable Player award, Nexen Heroes first baseman Park Geun-hye, after hitting .318 with 37 home runs and 117 RBIs, wins his second straight MVP. Now, after helping Nexen go to their first postseason appearance this past season, Park becomes just the fourth player in history to win back-to-back honors. Meanwhile, NC Dino's rookie pitcher Lee Jae-hak was voted the Rookie of the Year after beating out Tusan Bears Yoo Hee-kwan for the award. Now, Lee finished off the season at 10-5 with an impressive ERA of 2.88 in his rookie season. And while Nexen Heroes closer Song Seung-rak received the Closer Award for the most saves in the single season with 46, it's Samsung Lions closer Oh Seung-hwan who's getting all the attention this offseason. While Oh Seung-hwan is officially a free agent here in Korea, teams from other leagues must bid for the rights to negotiate a deal with the righty. And while the closer has been a crucial part of the team's success, the team will allow him to test the overseas market, with many experts stating that the posting fee will be similar to what the LA Dodgers paid for Lee Hyun-jin. Now, despite Japan being the most likely destination for Oh Seung-hwan, many major league teams are looking into the closer as well. And shifting over to football, where manager Hong Myung-bo announced his latest roster for the upcoming friendlies in the month of November. And while there weren't that much changes made from the roster back in October, Kim Shin-wook has been added to the national team once again. The 196-centimeter striker from Ulsan Hyundai Tigers has been in great form with his club team and will be given a shot with Kujachar out with an injury. Meanwhile, Park Ju-young still hasn't gotten the national team nod yet, with his chances getting lower and lower with each day at Arsenal. Manager Hong made it clear that the striker must leave Arsenal and get some playing time in order to return to the national team. And on to ice. Figure queen Kim Yeon-ah, who's recovering from a foot injury, is on her way back to the ice. And according to her agency, she will not be competing in the upcoming NRW trophy. With her status uncertain right now, her agency decided that she will not compete in the tournament where she made her comeback a year earlier. And instead, the 23-year-old is set to compete in an event in Croatia set to take place on December 5th and another in Ukraine, which is set to take place on December 18th. Meanwhile, the world-class figure skater is preparing for the upcoming 2014 Sochi Winter Games, which will be her last Olympics before her retirement. Well, best of luck to her, and that is going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Well, natural sunlight has been found to have many different health benefits, and recently artificial light, depending on the light wave and the color as well as the strength of the light, has been found to have benefits as well.
That's right. Recent studies have shown that light can be an effective tool to treat infections, muscular pain, as well as blood circulation. So I could use some sunlight right now. And so we're going to take a look at some what kind of treatments light can be used for. So take a look.
It's not only natural light that is used for treatment options. Artificial light is also being used for light therapy in ear, nose, and throat treatments, or for newborns with jaundice and other illnesses. Of those treatments, there's also therapy using various colors of visible light to provide people with emotional, psychological, and physiological comfort. One of the most common fields of treatment using light is in skin diseases. LED lights can help with treatment for wounds, offer anti-inflammatory effects, and have a healthy impact on skin cells.
The LED lights at the 415 nanometer length range are blue, and they deter germs and relieve acne, while the 630 nanometer length, which is red, induces the synthesis of collagen and has the effect of whitening and increasing resilience. The 830 nanometer length assists in treating wounds and relieving infections.
Light therapy is also being considered for treatment of more severe diseases. A team of Korean scientists recently announced that there is much potential for treating diabetes using light therapy, and it is drawing a lot of attention. By transplanting hydrogel that carries insulin-secreting cells into a mouse and exposing it to light, researchers were able to bring blood sugar levels to normal through a reaction between light and the cells. Usually, light is unable to penetrate the body due to muscles, bones, and fat, but in this case, the transplant hydrogel not only passes on the light, it also delivers the required drugs. And with this, there's more hope that this procedure can in the future offer treatment options for patients with diabetes.
The potential to treat diabetes with light therapy, it sounds absolutely revolutionary. And to talk more about this, joining us is Professor Han Se-kwang from Pohang University of Science and Technology, who is on the research team. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be here. Before starting, I would like to mention my collaborator, Professor Andy Yoon, at the Wightman Center for Photomedicine of Harvard Medical School. We have worked together to develop this technology for about 3 years, which was online published in Nature Photonics.
Sounds like a groundbreaking breakthrough that you've made. And tell us about how this differs from conventional diabetes treatments.
Diabetic patients generally inject insulin before having a meal. Using this technology, they do not need frequent injections, but simple light irradiation. Optogenetic cells in the hydrogel can be triggered to release insulin for the treatment of diabetes.
Okay, so it's not just using light, but also you mentioned hydrogels. What exactly are hydrogels?
We use the hydrogels for the first time as light guiding materials. Hydrogels are cross-linked networks of water-soluble polymer and used to encapsulate drugs and therapeutic cells.
So those hydrogels could be implanted in the body and then irradiation, and that will cause insulin to be excreted. It is according to, I mean, it is a groundbreaking alternative treatment for diabetes. So what other steps ahead do you have for your finding to be materialized?
We will carry out optimization of this technology for easy applications using light-sensitive materials. After that, we will carry out preclinical and clinical tests in collaboration with global pharmaceutical companies.
So, and what kind of fields are you also exploring, and what kind of, I guess, what are some of the requirements for you to be able to materialize your
putting this out into the market for treatment available to people?
A variety of photomedicines are being investigated for the treatment of cancer, stroke, and cardiac ischemia. For example, A photothermal ablation therapy using nanomaterials is being investigated for the treatment of cancer. In order for successful development of photomedicines, we need well-organized, cooperative, and multidisciplinary research, including material science, life science, medical science, and engineering.
Okay, well, this is a tremendous discovery. You know, I've known people who've been suffering from diabetes all their lives, and it is a very detrimental condition. Now, but you found this, and we're trying to get this out there into the open market there. But what other research will you be looking into following this breakthrough?
We have also developed a diagnostic method using optogenetic cells. Taken together, we will develop a theranostic system which can be used for simultaneous diagnosis and therapy.
Okay, so we're talking about diagnosis with light using this technology and also therapy at the same time.
Yes, that's correct.
I mean, think about it. I mean, I have a relative who has been suffering from diabetes and have to inject insulin every time, 3 times a day.
We're talking about millions of people,
exactly.
diabetes, diabetic patients. So good news to them. Thank you for your discovery and good luck with that. Thank you very much. All right, that just about does it for this edition of Korea Today.
All right, have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you back here on Wednesday morning.
That's right. Thank you for watching. Please join us again, same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.